I hope everybody out there is feeling great. We are about to get into this episode. I can tell you right now, things should be spicy. Things should be spicy. We got a lot to talk about. We have a lot of opinions that we should be hearing today. Now, I'm going to get right into this right off the bat before we even get into our soft topics. I'm going to let you know how you can join in on the conversation, how you can call in live, give your take, speak your piece, have part of your conversation involved in the content creation. All right. You need one of two things. You need a laptop or a desktop. All right. Phone, tablets, this portion. Okay. So laptop, desktop, the links are in the description and in the live chat pinned. You click that link, it brings you into the studio audience. Now listen, turn your YouTube off if you're going to be live in the studio. That way I don't get a bunch of feedback. All right. Just close the YouTube. All right. Don't even try to keep the YouTube up. Close it out. Go ahead. Usually you want an earpiece. Even if you're on the phone, you want an earpiece. If you're not, you need to make sure you select that you're not using an earpiece so you can get echo cancellation. All right. Swag Jeff already comes in, best race in 2 years. And I'm going to let Jeff get in on the soft topic as soon as I finish explaining this. No telling what swag Jeff is going to wear. We already got people waiting in the lobby. Okay. So do that. Now, if you do have a phone or a tablet, you can still come in studio, partake in the audience and the live chat, but you won't be able to do a live call in. So I tell you what, let's let Jeff kick us off today while we're in the soft topics and see what swag Jeff got to say. What's going on, Zach? Hey, you took the tape off. You took the tape off.
I took the tape off, but let me just tell you, at the beginning of the race, this shirt,
Okay.
about halfway through the race, I went to this shirt, and then I ended up with this shirt.
This is epic. Jeff has just topped his swaggish with 3 shirts from Ferrari to McLaren to Mercedes. Oh my goodness. Now, Jeff, I got to ask you a question, Jeff. Now, I know you ended with the Mercedes shirt, but how did you feel about the Russell finish, man? Did you not have some type of opinion on that at all?
I did, and it tore me apart because first of all, let me just say,
Okay.
Ferrari did a great job telling back off a little bit to get Lando into DRS range because he knew that if Lando was out of DRS, either Hamilton or George was going to take over, and then they were on the hunt for him.
Right.
And so congrats. It
was crazy.
I hated to see what happened to George. He made one little tiny mistake, but the fact of the matter is Lewis was faster than him, and he kind of said you need to speed him up, he's going too slow.
Right.
You're never gonna let Lewis pass. And when he made the mistake, I was like, oh shit, and then I was like, oh shit. And I was pretty happy about the outcome. You know, George he's a great driver. He's going to get his. He's young. He made a mistake. The other thing I want to point out is
Go ahead.
What happens after a race when Checo makes a mistake or, something happens. Max is like, well, he's a shit driver. He sucks. I don't even know why he's on my team. Lewis goes to the press and says, I feel really bad for the dude. He really pressed really hard. He made a little tiny mistake. I feel bad for him. He's got his whole life ahead of him. Max would never
support his teammate like that.
So, it was a great race. It was so much fun. Typically, I'll get like 10, 15, 20 laps in, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to let it record and I'll play it back later. Who gives a shit? This one, I was like, oh, Max is not in front, and they're messing up their strategy. Even their strategy sucked, not just their car and their driving. So I had to watch the whole race. And then when things started happening, Lewis gets pushed off first freaking turn. And Lewis has he's such a great guy. They were saying, you got to give back the place. And he goes, yeah, okay, I'll give back the place.
Right.
And then they come back and say, well, you got to give Lando back the place too. And he's like, well, whatever.
Right.
Lewis back to place. Do you think Max would have given back those
No,
places?
well, we already saw that he won't do that.
No.
We already saw. We saw in Brazil that he would never do anything like that.
No. So Max showed total class. Lando showed that he's one of the best drivers on the grid. Red Bull showed that they are non-invincible. They can make mistakes too. And Max was still a little baby bitch after the race. But congrats. People say I don't really like Singapore. I love Singapore.
I was surprised in Singapore, actually, Jeff. I was surprised. Up until then, Singapore hadn't done much for me. But Singapore in that race definitely showed out. I don't know whether it was the changes, little iterations in the track or anything else. But I mean, from free practice all the way to the GP Sunday, it was very nice.
Before they made the change, you come out to a left-hand turn. You got to take a sharp right hand, then a sharp left hand. Then it's then straight, then another left, and another right, another left. Now all of a sudden you take that all out and it's make the turn and just jet.
Go.
And right turn, and it's just a roundabout to get to the finish. It made it so much more fun.
It did. Jeff, I'm going to ask you, man, make sure you keep coming back. I don't know what you might change into, but you changed 3 times already, brother. I appreciate you for being on.
I got to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
Got to shout out to Coach Prime. CU on the roll, and they are playing amazing football. That Sunday night game was amazing. But here's what I want to say.
What's up?
Coach Prime would never have a Max Verstappen on his team.
No.
Ever.
No, not with that mentality and that attitude. You are exactly right, brother. Appreciate you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay, we got Kenny B and Uno in studio. All right, Kenny B says, is there a perfect car for every track? The answer to that is definitely no. There's not a perfect car for every track, Kenny B. What's going on, my brother?
How you doing, Jay? Look,
I'm doing good.
Is my question. Why did everybody expect Max to win this race before they even touched the track?
Same reason why a lot of people have been expecting him to win every race before he touches the track. Will Buxton, everybody. That's why.
Okay, but
now, that doesn't speak for you and I, because I've been said at some point in time in the season, Red Bull's going to hit a snag. It's going to happen. But I didn't think it. But for a minute, I said, if it doesn't happen, you got to give them credit. But at some point, it was going to happen.
Okay, so of all the tracks, why would people not think Baku or Singapore would be those tracks that would give Red Bull a problem?
I'll tell you why. Tell them why. Why would they?
Every circumstances, they all have different aggregates in their surface. They all have different temperatures, and they all have different humidity levels and other things and layouts. Street tracks are just not as smooth and predictable as your regular tracks. So why would everybody just assume that you can build a car that's just going to give you the perfect feel at 200 miles an hour, 200 plus miles an hour on every track? It's just not possible.
Well, I mean, up until now, that's what's been going on. And you think about it, I mean, only 2 times we could legitimately, factually say that Max has been out is what? Is when the pole position came with Lewis and Carlos during ATAs. The alternative tire allocations. And I said that they've had a situation and they're 0 for 2 there. Anytime that there comes a circumstance or situation that I've seen with Red Bull, it's in the tire department. When tire management is of most priority, they failed 2 out of 2 times. All right. So here we come into Singapore with a tire situation, with temperatures changing, and many teams were talking about that. Temperatures are fluctuating. We're trying to find a window, and they didn't get it in the window, and Max couldn't overcome that. That's just what happened. That's just what happened.
And Mike Tyson said everybody got planned till you get hit.
Till you're getting hit in the mouth. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Max Verstappen has made his career on being overly aggressive, being a bull in the China factory, and everybody having to watch out for him. Give a capable driver. And I would even, Sainz is a capable driver, Leclerc is a capable driver, but you give Lewis or Alonso that car, or a car that can perform on par with them? Oh, no.
Oh, no.
There's no way he would anybody would ever say that he was going to go undefeated or Red Bull was going to go undefeated for the year. And that's what the talk has been up to this point. Can they
Right.
go undefeated? No, Brazil should have showed everybody last year. You cannot hit a perfect home run every single time when it comes to Formula One because there's just too many variables and they're working at such high speeds. Too many variables.
True. It was an unrealistic notion. It was an unrealistic notion. It was, my brother. Hey, you gonna be around, bro? I know you gonna be around. Cause I see you ready today. I
got something to say about race tactics.
That's a bet, brother. I got you. I see you ready today. My man is ready.
Hopefully, I don't have a problem with my bro. I got some earbuds.
I can hear you.
That was the problem. No, but last time.
Got you.
I got on once and I couldn't get on again. And it was the same thing that happened 2 weeks before that.
That's what you were saying.
What is going on?
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully we don't have that issue because I missed you doing those portions. So hopefully we don't have that issue this time.
So when y'all said y'all can see me, you can see me through my camera?
No, we could see your comments in the live chat, but I couldn't see you in studio.
Okay. All right. Good.
Got you. But you good today.
Okay.
All right. All right, so we got some super chats in the YouTube. ADVR Carlos says Max is done. I hope legitimately can't stand any more Red Bull. I don't know if Max is done. I think we're gonna see it's gonna happen again in Japan. I think they're gonna be back on par unless some things that have changed things for the rest of this amount of time. And you know what I'm talking about. I got Baraka coming in next. And then Carlos ADVR also says they had to make new rules because of the way Verstappen drives. And now we got Baraka coming in hot. He says, well, it was fun while it lasted for me in parentheses. What's going on, brother, man?
What's going on?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Let's see what you Let's see what you got to say. It was fun for you while it lasted. Go ahead, brother. You got your F1 minute.
Yeah, it's like, of course, have a perfect season wasn't quote unquote realistic. But in the back of my head, I knew that. But it's like, what if they actually did? It's like, I want to be there if they actually, did the impossible. Like, even in Mercedes dominant years, they were not able to have that perfect season. Even way back when with McLaren, they weren't having that type of, I don't think they had that type of dominant season where they won all race. I think there was one race where they got podiums, but they didn't win a race. If my memory could serve me right. And of course I got some Mercedes merch.
I see.
So even though I say I do like Red Bull, it is what it is. I guess I like the merch. I like the merch they got going on. But yeah, overall, it's like, the race it sucks as a Red Bull fan. Max did a little damage limitation, finishing P5 in the race, coming from P11. Checo, I had to check Checo finishing P8, I think after starting, P12 or 13, if I could remember.
Right, something like that.
So of course, damage limitation. Yeah, I just say yesterday was more of like a setup. Like, they probably just didn't get the setup right, which hindsight is like, I'm not surprised because it's not the first time they had a setup right in this particular track. I think out of all the tracks, Singapore's probably was always their weakest. Like last year, of course, Checo had the pole, but you could say the other cars near him were in contention to win the race. And Max struggled last year in Singapore, even though it was the old layout. This is probably not his best track. So I was going into this race reserved.
Okay.
Also, but still hoping, fingers crossed, maybe he could extend that record to 11 wins in a row, but it didn't happen. But
it didn't happen.
Shout out to Carlos for putting up that master move, purposely slowing down a bit so he could keep Lando in the DRS. That's pretty smart, It's a chess move. I never thought that when, Ferrari said, hey, can you push up? It's like, no, I'm doing this on purpose for a reason.
Yeah, big boss
That's when I saw
Carlos.
that. It's like, what? I like that thinking. I've never heard any driver say that in my life, and which is very impressive. Lando.
Lewis did something like that to Seb in Spa one season.
Oh yeah, he did. I think so. I think he did.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like it's that move is a double-edged sword. It could help, but it could also ruin your race.
Right, it's a gamble.
I'm guessing with Carlos, it's Singapore. Singapore is hard to pass to begin with. It's like it's hard to pass to begin with. So I'm guessing, that played into a factor of his decision making. It's like, you know what? Let me give Lando DRS. Me and him are on God knows how old hard tires, while Lewis and George are on some fresher medium tires. And I'm gonna say this: I have no pity for George. I have no pity for George. I'm sorry. He's not my guy. I don't know. Ever since he first came onto the track, in my head is like, I just don't like you. I don't know why. I just don't. Now, shout out to Lando, for he fought. He literally fought. There was one lap where he lost DRS, but he still managed to keep hold of like two cars. While on pace, of course, McLaren is the faster car. In my opinion, they're faster than Mercedes. It's just, again, Mercedes are on much fresher, newer tires. I think their setup was probably the best setup compared to every other team on the grid for that race. So I'm impressed. He's due for a win, and when he's there, I'll be there. I can't lie. I'll be there when Lando finally gets that maiden win. He's due for one. Yeah,
appreciate you, brother. Hey, make sure you stay around, bro.
Oh, for sure.
Hey, man. So listen, that is a very good point. I enjoyed Carlos's strategy. By the way, Carlos's strategy, not Ferrari's. Ferrari was trying to advise him to do something different, and Carlos had to let them know once again, I know what I'm doing. It's on purpose. We got super chats over there. The mechanic says Lewis' team wasn't there to celebrate with him. Which definitely, if that was the case, something's definitely up with that. I had already came on live, so I didn't get to see some of the post-race. Just after the race, I watched some of the post-race interviews, especially with Liam Lawson. That was awesome to see him up there again. And, of course, we had some situations with Ocon and Valtteri and Tsunoda that was unfortunate for Ocon, especially. He probably shouldn't have talked to Brundle before the race, and Oscar Piastri walking off on Brundle was fucking funny as hell. Box Office Ham, first time with the super chat, says as long as George is not contractually bound to play as team player, he is always going to be a problem. He will gain unfair advantage and then ignore team calls. Damn, that is a very strong, nice first super chat right there. Box Office Ham, big shout out to the fam. All right, we got Uno coming in hot. Let's see what Uno has to say. Well, what do we have, Uno? No, we don't have Uno. So I tell you what, we're going to go into this. So I know plenty of people probably are wondering about what the hell exactly happened. Uno, if you're there, damn, feel free to call back in, man, or do your call in if it canceled you out, brother. So people, the team orders thing, I've always said, like, my prerequisite of a team order is, and I'm going to say this, I talk all week, and I'm going to talk more this week. This is your time to talk. I'll put in a couple of words, but I want to hear what you have to say about the situations and the topics that we're talking about. I've always said that if a driver's on the gearbox, there is their time to say, hey, you might need to move aside and give that driver opportunity. I don't want to hear a driver 3 seconds, 4 seconds back calling for team orders like Charles has done several times. Like we've heard and seen other drivers do plenty of times. Lewis was on the back of Russell's gearbox. There was even a moment, a turn in there where there was a gap in there where he could have pushed it. It would have been edgy, but I know Lewis chose not to push it because it's about team over himself, and definitely you want to risk taking out both cars. George screwed himself. He put himself before the team like he's done many times, and it didn't work out for him. And if you watch from Lewis's cam, you can see that George is just all over the track on certain turns. And it was bound to happen, and he pushed too wide, clipped that curb, and put himself right into the wall. Fortunately, his front end didn't rotate enough where Lewis would have ended up colliding with him. It let him go straight off into the runoff area and into the barriers, and Lewis was able to continue the race and at least bring home points for Mercedes on the third step of the podium. So let's see what you all have to say about that. A lot of people have feeling that Russell is they just not really believing in Russell for the team as far as his character and his personality. And I can't blame you. I can't blame you for that. So we don't have any more callers on that. We're going to go to the next topic. Okay, we're going to go to the next topic, and I'm pretty sure we're going to hear from Baraka. We're going to hear from Kenny B. And I look to hear from some of you others. Live chat link to call in is in the description and in the live chat pin. Don't be afraid. If you leave a lot of comments, saucy comments and disrespectful comments, feel free to come on camera and say what you got to say right here in the face. Let's go ahead. Let's see what you got. So we're going to go ahead and get to our next segment. Max and Red Bull stumble. Lost the streak, pole, and the race. What you got to say? 10 end. What do you got to say about that? So I will say this. There was a portion in the race I said to myself, if Max makes this comeback, I am 110% going to give him credit for doing so. Because there was a time in there where I said, hey, it might still be possible. Why should I not think it's possible? I even said it during qualifying that it's possible. Like, even though they're stumbling, it's possible. But the point I also would like to make is, and it also alludes to Kenny B's point, it's hard to be perfect all the time. But let's not also contradict ourselves when a lot of people have said, even talking heads in Formula One, even if that car is not right, there's a reason why you should take it. Matter of fact, Baraka himself even said in relation to Sergio Perez, even a subpar RB19 should be on podium all the time. Max Verstappen fails to make pole, fails to make podium, and what do people do? They try to use Checo Perez as a reason why Max Verstappen should be not talked about. No, you can't have it both ways. You can't use Perez to boost Max because Max is doing this and you say, Perez, well, you should be able to do it. Perez has been struggling majority of the season outside since he's been outside of that driving championship battle. And now that Max fails to perform, it's like, oh, well, it's not so bad because his teammate didn't do that good. Bullshit. Come on. We can't go both ways. We can't do that. Baraka's coming in right now. I see Baraka right there. Baraka says, I can understand why George did what he did. Okay. Well, let's hear it, Baraka, my brother. Let me hear what you got. Let me hear what you got on this.
Before I start,
go ahead.
I want to first say, how about them Bulldogs and Falcons? How about them? You already know. How about them? You already know.
So let me ask you this. Do you really feel confident that George is going to three-peat?
It's hard to three. It was already hard to go. It was difficult. Well, it was difficult to go to back, but we did the impossible. Went undefeated. Ohio State kind of scared me a bit. That Ohio State.
Well, hold on.
Utah went
undefeated. Utah went undefeated, and they beat Alabama when they was the strongest.
Yeah. We went undefeated.
And they got shafted.
Yeah, they got shafted. Yeah. But it's Utah. It's Utah though. That's the thing.
That's fucked up.
It's Utah. Let's be real. Yeah, they went undefeated, but come on. TCU went undefeated, almost went undefeated. And look what happened in national champ. We baptized them in fire.
Touché,
all right.
Touche.
So yeah, but yeah, I hope we can. I believe we can.
Okay.
But yeah, and my Falcons,
right now,
it's
a lot of Falcon talk, Super Bowl talk. I don't know why they do this every season. Why do y'all worse than the Cowboys except y'all won no Super Bowls?
Hey, listen, we haven't had this feeling since 2017.
Let y'all have it.
Let us have it. Okay. Let us have it.
Go ahead, brother.
In regards to George, again, I did say in my previous call is I have no pity for George. I hold true to that. Trust me. But I understand what he did. Of course, I always come with the mindset is like, naturally, drivers would tend to be selfish for their own gain. That's just like we've seen it before. People would clown on Max for doing it, but let's be real. That's pretty much how most drivers are naturally are. They just don't tend to show it. While some, like Max, Max will tend to show that he's selfish. I'm gonna give him that. Even though his career is clouded in rose tinted glasses, Michael Schumacher was probably a more notorious selfish driver than people make him out to be. If you saw what he did when he first won his championship, what he tried to do against Villeneuve, he's selfish. But the team order, team orders are okay given a circumstance to get maximum points.
Okay.
George, I think he just got caught under pressure. Like he's trying to go after Lando.
Okay.
At the same time trying to defend against Lewis. He claims that he's both came into the pits at the same time, got out the pits, and they were 2 to 3 seconds faster than everyone else on the grid that was on hard.
Right.
So I could tell in the cockpit that he probably felt that he's like, okay, I'm going really fast. I know, and so, but then he has Lewis who's going. I think I remember on Twitter there was comparing times. Lewis was faster than him in almost every other lap. Like every 5 laps, of course, George will be faster, but then the next 5, Lewis would trump him. I'm guessing he just, got overzealous, which for a young driver that tends to happen. They get overzealous about it. Trying to get the spot while trying to defend from another fast car, and he just got cut under pressure. So I could understand it. Did I laugh and celebrate when that happened? I have no shame. Of course I did. Of course I did. It was like, I'm not the one. Hear this. I'm not the one who's like, come on, Mercedes, you got this. Come on. It's like, I'm over here saying, come on, bro. I know you got a bozo gene in you. Come on. Come on. And it showed up. It showed up. But yeah, I think that he just got overzealous and just cracked under pressure, defending and attacking at the same time.
Okay. All right.
Now with the Mercedes celebration with the team not showing up.
That's what I'm seeing, bro. What's up with that?
It don't get me wrong, it is a bit weird. Now the reaction probably from my point of view, the reaction on Twitter that I've been seeing from like a lot of Lewis fans, I feel like I understand what they're coming from. I think to me it's like they're blowing it up as like it's the end of the world type situation, which is like, okay,
a little bit.
Don't get me wrong, I get it, but you guys are doing a bit too much. All right. Okay. And that's coming from a Falcons fan who overreacts to almost every bad call that we do. So I think it's like, all right, Japan is coming up pretty soon. Like,
it is.
Let's relax. I understand you guys' frustration, but it's not the end of the world. Trust me on it. It's
nothing
not.
Lasts forever, like I said.
Yeah, nothing lasts forever. Let's just take a chill pill for a minute.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Baraka. So Baraka said, take a chill pill. I will say that I don't think that's the first time that that's happened. And I think maybe some Mercedes fans are a bit wonder and kind of looking side eye like, what's the business with that? This is not the first time this has happened. Even I think in this similar type of situation where George failed to finish or do something, I think it was one other time this season where Lewis still made podium and the team wasn't there. So is there something to that? I don't know. You all in the chat should know this is your time to tell me if that's the case. Swag Jeff is coming on. He says, where do Liam go? Let's see. What's going on? Swag Jeff Riverside, open another tab. Let's see. Issue. Go ahead, Jeff. Let me get a mic check. Go ahead, brother. I see you got the Alfa Romeo on. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead, bro.
First thing is, I really think Lance Stroll should be the second driver on Red Bull. He's such a good driver. I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
What the hell? Lance Stroll.
Oh, so Max has got to have a new teammate eventually because that situation ain't going to work. So my question is, who picks up William Lawson? He is such a good driver, and he has proven he is a good driver, and he's still so young. So the question is, why did AlphaTauri just commit to keeping Danny Rick and Yuki when they could have had him? Danny Rick, I love the guy. He's funny as fuck.
Right.
But he's done. He's over. I'll give Yuki. Yuki's made some huge mistakes, but I like the guy, and I think he's a decent driver.
Yeah.
But Liam Lawson's got to go somewhere. He deserves a seat. And then the last thing I want to say is the best thing that could happen to F1 right now is if Logan Sargent could win Coda or Las Vegas. People will lose their mind.
You got jokes. Logan, no Sergeant, is going to win anything this season.
He won my heart.
Hey, at least he's got, and that's pretty good to have, because Jeff, you're a good dude, man. I appreciate you much. Oh my gosh. Hey, Jeff has a point though, but I just wonder, I know this is not a topic right now. We're on Max, Red Bull, Stumble, the streak, all that, but I just got to wonder, do we taper the same team? Do we go ahead and kind of hold reservation just a bit? Because this is starting to seem a little bit Nick DeVries-esque, as he, went through testing and did a good job in quali and then came to get points at Monza. I think maybe we wait a little while. I definitely like what I'm seeing from Liam thus far. So I will say that he is showing that he has capability and prospect. Like there's something there. Getting to lead a little bit more time for him to make his resume to solidify him as a good driver. Right now, he is definitely impressing people, but DeVries did the same thing. He impressed, got his contract the following season, this season as a matter of fact, and he's not around to even finish the season he got a contract for. Same team, here comes Liam Lawson, replacing for Danny Rick. Does a nice job just managing in that first race, comes back out, does a good job, gets a full weekend, comes out this weekend, third race, and puts the car in points higher than Yuki has all season, but not as many points as Yuki has just yet. But I did say this, if Liam Lawson gets points, there should be a debate on if he can get that seat, but they signed Danny Rick again. Danny Rick hadn't done what Liam had in the same amount of time. The third race, Danny Rick literally got broken because he didn't let go of the steering wheel, which is something he's trained to know to do. We saw even Lance Stroll do as much this weekend in Singapore when he wrecked up his car in qualifying, recklessly so, let go of the steering wheel like he's trained to do. I'm not sure if AlphaTauri made the right decision unless there's something else working. Maybe Liam might have something else on the table. Maybe he didn't give it to AlphaTauri to sign him. Maybe we don't know everything yet. We'll see what comes out. Right here, we got 70 Dodge Man. Logan's going to win most damage. We got Galacticus. Danny Hand may need a special wheel or he is out. You know what? I can't count Danny out because Lance Stroll been in here driving, so we might see some Lance Stroll-esque driving from Danny. We got Pian calling in. Says, George, pressure and team orders. Let's go, Pian. Glad to have you call in, brother. Let's see what you got to say. I will go ahead and I will start your F1 minute. Give me a mic check.
Hey, can you hear me, Jay?
You can, man. Go ahead. You got it.
So, yeah, regarding George, like I was listening to a podcast earlier, and they were talking about how it is interesting insight where they said that George sets his car up for more of a qualifying, and Lewis sets his car up a little bit more towards the race, and it just goes, is that he's so keen on beating Lewis. The pressure that he had when Lewis was behind him, and then the pressure that he had to make the move, he fumbled. And the fact that Mercedes is just, they're not pulling the trigger on the team orders a little bit earlier, because it was, what was it? I think it was at least a couple laps when after they caught up to the back of the pack, you could that his tires were cooked. Lewis had done a much better job at managing, and he was on that ass. So they need to push the youngling aside, the Padawan aside, and let the master take over, because this is ridiculous. Because I said it in the Discord.
Yes.
George crashed. He just costed us a whole bunch of points. Now look at Ferrari. They're right on our ass.
Right on the ass. Hey, you ain't lying. So let me ask you this. Do you, because I listened, I didn't hear it. Do you think that there definitely should have been a call for team orders at that point in time to say, hey, we've given you several laps to try to get Lando. You're unable to do it. we need to go ahead and see if Lewis can get it done. Do you think that should have been the case?
I think so. I think the second, because there was enough, you could see that his tires were kind of gone.
Yeah.
With enough time to give Lewis enough, and he would have gotten that move. I think he would have definitely gotten a move. That man, everybody knows he's a hunter. When he hunts, he gets his man. There's very rare times where when he's on a hunt and he doesn't get his man. That man hunts.
True.
So they I don't know what they're doing over there. Just, he's the future, blah 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 blah. I don't care. Lewis hasn't gotten his 8th title yet. Son, you need to sit down and just watch. Block for me, you're rear gunner.
Big shout out, P. Appreciate you calling in, brother. Stay tuned and call in again. Hey, we got PN telling y'all hey, nah. Now I will say this. I think there should have been team orders, but I also say Russell's got a lot to learn and he needs to learn it. I'm not going to say Russell's a great driver because he hasn't proven that yet. I think we throw the great term out there way too much, too easy. He's not a great driver. He is a good driver. He's an elite driver. He's showing that he has promise, but he has a lot to learn as far as managing and understanding the situation. Carlos, I've credited Carlos so many times with understanding the situation around. Another driver that's good at, of course, Lewis is. That goes without saying. Lewis is a unicorn, like Kenny Bugg says. They're unicorns. Alonso's another driver who's very good in the moment of a race to analyze so many things that are going on. And that is a very great skill to have. That's a very good skill to have. Racer X210's coming in. Let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats over here. Didn't miss any super chats. Don't want to miss anybody. Definitely, if I do, I'll screenshot, bring you up on the next one. I think the last super chat over here we had was Galactus. It says Danny Hand may need special, so we're good. Racer X210 is calling. It says Ferrari possibly back? Question mark. And what the fuck, Russell? Question mark with an exclamation. So there's a lot of heat coming from that way. Let's bring Racer X210 in, give him his F1 minute. Here we go. What's up, Racer, man? Speak to me. Let me get a mic check.
1 2 1 2.
1 2. Let me get a little closer, man. Get a little louder right there one time.
All right, 1 2 1 2.
There we go. Go ahead, brother. You got your F1 minute.
All right. First off, Ferrari with the podium and the win. So super psyched about that. Carlos did his thing. Super psyched. What the F, Russell? You knew damn well you did not have the pace to let alone take on Lando, let alone overtake him. Your teammate put up the fastest lap and had it for a couple of laps, closing into the race. The very end,
Right.
He could have fought for P2. But
Right.
what'd you do? You became the greedy child, didn't want to share your toys, and then you got put in timeout. You got put in timeout. You hit the wall. Your parents like, you hit the wall, stay there. Sir Hamilton had to come in, take P3. You lose points and make the constructor battle a lot more harder now since we're coming to the end of the season. And you just fumbled it. You could have just let him pass. You're not number one. You don't have that title. You don't have the big cojones to be walking around saying, I run this. This is still Sir Hamilton, the legend, the GOAT, the one and only team. He runs it up in there. Follow suit.
I heard that. Racer X210, appreciate you, my brother, man.
Likewise.
I like the way you close that off. Kenny B, thank you. Kenny B back in studio. All right. Kenny B, Tess, you back in studio. I see you. I'm about to bring you up, my brother. Let's go ahead and try this out. Give me a mic check, Kenny B.
I had to work some serious magic here.
Got you.
I had to use a different account.
God damn, man. Go ahead, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have you back. Go ahead. What you got?
Let's get this straight right now. Guys, once you get into the studio, do not hit the reload button. Do not hit the reload button.
Got you. Almost thought you.
Okay, so let's start. Let's start right there.
I thought you over. I got you.
Okay, so we're talking race strategy here, okay?
All right.
Okay, so
I
number
like that
one.
shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Hey, look, everybody's pulling out all of the guns today, so I'm like, okay, y'all want to play? Okay, let's play. We gotta go stealth over here. But no, for real.
Okay.
What Carlos did, remember, they got history. Him and Lando got along very well when he was at McLaren. So they got history together. But more importantly, it was to his benefit to have that DRS train. Have you ever seen a race where Carlos Sainz was in front and he wasn't saying, "Where is Lewis?" when Lewis was 3, 4, 5 cars behind him? Mm-hmm. He always told Ferrari, "Where's Lewis? Keep an eye on Lewis."
Facts.
Lewis has always been his biggest threat. He's always seen Lewis as a danger. And there's a reason why drivers see Lewis as a danger. The other side of that is, what teams have you ever seen help Mercedes? You see Red Bull with AlphaTauri helping them.
Right.
You see Ferrari with McLaren helping them. You see guys letting guys through because that's not their fight, but you never see anybody give Mercedes a pass, ever.
Facts.
Ever.
Facts.
They will never give Mercedes, especially not Lewis, a pass, period. And then now let's get down to the real nitty gritty, which is George. George is exactly who we thought he was.
The Arizona coach, they are who we thought they were. Go ahead.
That's the bottom line issue, okay? Because think about this. George has an old school mentality. Formula One mentality. They feel that if you are not aggressive, and the old guys teach this, if you are not aggressive, overly aggressive, you cannot become a world champion. If you don't believe like that, if you don't go at it 120%, you will not become world champion because everybody else is putting in all that. This goes back to the conversation we had about Danica Kirkpatrick said. And I think everybody misunderstood it, but I haven't talked to Danica personally yet, so I can't confirm this. But the bottom line issue is when you are not given the opportunities or nearly the opportunities that the men are, you can't understand what it's like to be in that position. Well, George is in that position, and he knows that in order to be the man, you got to take down the man. What he's not understanding is this is a learning opportunity for you. There are things you don't know. You might be fast. But the one thing about it is, when Lewis got into that seat in F1, he didn't make mistakes. When he went to the U.S. Grand Prix, he kept Alonso behind him his rookie year. And no matter what Alonso said, did, whatever, the team would not order Lewis to let him through, even though he cheated in qualifying, and even they had to give him a penalty for it.
Right.
For cheating against his own teammate. When do you see someone get a penalty for cheating against their own teammate in qualifying? He did that in 2007. That's what a threat Lewis was back then. Not just a threat, but it's consistency in not making mistakes. The one thing you hear everybody say about Lewis is he does not usually make mistakes. Okay? So when you see George following Norris into that corner, into the entry into that corner, Norris barely clipped his rear wheel against that wall.
Right.
But George broke his suspension when he caught it. His front suspension, and that's why he ended up into the wall.
Right.
Look, the high pressure situations is when your focus has to be at its best. Period. End of discussion. And he proved, I'm not there yet. So why are you not playing second fiddle and doing your job and helping Lewis get where he needs to get? Look, Bottas found out real quick that he did not understand what it was like to be under pressure and manage your tires at the same time. Lewis taught him a fast lesson on that. A real quick lesson on that. You need to be aggressive and be able to manage your tires. Because if you can't keep your tires in that working window without overheating them, you're done.
You're done.
And these are the things some of the top drivers like Alonso must. I wouldn't say as much Verstappen because he was like Vettel when Vettel was at Red Bull. He had such an advantage over everybody else that he didn't have to worry about. Matter of fact, it was a Singapore race. His final Singapore race with Red Bull where he won. That they told him, Max, take care of your tires. He was like, we need to enjoy this moment. We don't know when we'll ever see this moment again. Right. And he burnt them tires up and still won the race, right?
Right.
So Red Bull has always been in a situation with their chassis and their aerodynamics, regardless of the engine, that they've always been able to just take advantage of their leads. Whereas other teams like Mercedes have had to work to maintain their lead. You have to actually have driving skills and use them to take care of your tires during the entire race. So now we see for the first time this year that Max Verstappen and Red Bull as a group could not manage their tires. Bang. Drum roll. I heard it.
Drum roll. That's a fact. Kenny B, my brother. Hey, man. Kenny B, bro, I appreciate you. But Kenny B dropping bars tonight. Oh, my gosh. Hey, man, I keep trying to tell y'all, it's some people with some knowledge up in here, man. If y'all didn't go to church yesterday, regardless of what you practice, Kenny B just said non-denominational. You come here, everybody welcome. I'm going to preach to you. Kenny B just opened up a sermon on y'all, man. Kenny B just opened up a sermon straight up on there. Golly. Shit, we got Will I Am in the live chat over there. Will I Am says, what's up, fam? Singapore GP 9 out of 10. Bring on Suzuka. Do you all think that Singapore was a 9 out of 10? Do you think that the Singapore weekend was the best race weekend thus far? We might have a live show and do that. We got Baraka calling in, says Red Bull had their setup all wrong. And before we go there, we're going to go to this segment. Carlos converts to win. Does Ferrari have things to consider? Baraka's coming in. Let's see what you got to say. Let's go ahead, my brother. You got your mic. Let me get your mic check real quick. Let me get a mic check.
1, 2.
Bet. Let's go ahead, brother. You got your F1 minute.
All right. First off, I had to change.
Jeff done started some shit. Kenny B
had to change back.
Baraka done changed it up. Let me stop your time, brother. Hey, man, y'all coming with all this damn swag, man. I need to start seeing shit. Man, y'all go ahead, man. Y'all got too much sauce for me, bro. Go ahead.
First off, I just think I believe this is probably just a one-off. I think I think once they get back, it's like I don't want to say it, but once they get back to like a proper racetrack, we'll see where Red Bull is. Because people are tying this into like, the new directive that just came in.
That is a question.
It's like that could be a question. I just said I'll hold off on that. It's a possibility.
Fair.
I'll give it Japan, and I think what's next after Japan? I think is it Vegas?
Yeah, I think it's Vegas.
So I'll wait.
No. It's Coda. It's Coda. I think.
Coda.
Is it Coda? I think it's Coda.
So I'll wait. I'll give just Suzuka and Coda then I'll make a judgment on if the technical directive did come into play and that what hampered Red Bull.
Okay.
But I just think, just setup wise, I think they just got it wrong.
My bad. It's Qatar.
Qatar? Okay.
Qatar.
Even then, it's still a racetrack.
Right.
So you got 2 actual racetracks, so we'll see where Red Bull are.
Okay.
Because when you look at other racing series, like for example, IndyCar, Spec Series, NASCAR, Spec Series. Right. Ideally, every car is on an equal level, equal playing field. But you hear teams like set up. One team may have a fast car, but they got their setup wrong, which they won't be cracking top 10, top 5, or all that. So I just think that maybe in this situation, that's what happened. It's like, yeah, they have the fastest car on the grid, but probably the you can even hear it in Checo and Max's during practice 1, 2, and 3. It's like, yo, the setup is just crap. It's BS. And I just think they couldn't figure out what's going on. It's like they changed the bits on the floor. The rear, they both Checo and Max is like, yo, the rear is oddly unstable for my liking. You know how Max is like, his car is set up very aggressively. And even for him, it's like he like all weekend, it's like something is off. can y'all fix this, please, before quali? And we all know what happened in quali, you know.
Yeah, we
by
saw what happened.
7,
Liam
it's
Lawson
like
booted his ass
7
on out of there.
7,000. Like, you don't understand how people 7,000 is like this.
Yeah.
It's real close. So I'm gonna hold off on, like, again, the whole setup thing. And I think with strategy, I think both Max and Checo did damage limitation again. P5 for Max, which is good given the situation that he was in starting in P11.
Right.
And I think P8 for Checo, which, given how Checo is, for the first time, I'm gonna applaud for him to taking the RB19 to a P8 after coming from P13,
No,
P12.
you're not. No, you're not. I'm not gonna let you do that, Blanca. I'm not gonna let you get away with that shit. We're about to have a sibling battle, bro. You said, and I quote, there is no excuse for Perez.
There's no. Here it is. I get that. There's no excuse. Don't get me wrong. There's no excuse. But this is the one time
that
this
your one
be on here. This is the one time. You know how parents when look at the child's like, you just like, this is the one time.
Right.
This is like this is the one time I'm just like, you know what? Given the situation that both Max and Checo were, you get a free pass.
Oh, so you're taking the David Coulthard approach.
It's like, yeah, exactly. David Coulthard. Like, you know what? It could have been worse today. It could have been worse.
Okay.
It could have been worse. Again, given how hard it is to pass on that track.
Right.
I'm fine. It's not the end of the world.
Right.
I got Suzuka next. I think it's this weekend.
Yes.
So I
think it's next weekend. Actually.
Next weekend. So I have to mentally prepare for me waking up at 1 a.m. in the morning to watch a race. So
gonna be up and popping. That's right.
Yep. So it's like, you know what? There's light at the end of the tunnel, but let's just hope this is a one-off for Red Bull in regards to setup, because again, prior to this, they've been getting their setups spot on for almost every track.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, this is probably a blip in the radar.
You're right. It's this weekend.
It's this weekend, so it could be a blip in the radar.
Okay.
I'll just leave it at that.
So let me ask you this question before I let you go. So,
all right,
Max, would you still say the RB19 is a better car, even outside of its setup window, than the Mercedes?
I'll say yes and no.
Okay, I give you that. So,
because I'm judging this off of, again, like, setup is still key. Like, cool. You can have a fast car, but then
it's just a one more question for this one.
Yeah.
So, with all the talk that people said, Max could take an AlphaTauri or a Haas to pole. Is that now bullshit? Can we now say that that's bullshit?
Listen, you already know. I've said this. It's like I understand. You know, you want to. Again, I always say every good driver wants to have a good hype man.
Hype up man.
All right. It's like, you know what? Here it is. I don't want to mention his name, but Marco, when it comes to Max, is a very good hype
man.
All right. He's a better hype man. Yeah. It's like Christian is not this hype about Max compared to how Marco is to Max.
Right.
So.
Okay.
You know, I'll give him that. He's a hype man. When he said that, it's like, okay, let's. In my head, when Marco said those words, it's like, all right, let's roll it back a bit. It's like, I think we're getting too excited because we're about to break the record that we still own. We're about to break several. Let's reel it back in. All right. Let's just chill. Just take it race by race.
All right.
Because let's be real. I say this. Max, Lewis, Alonso, or even Prime Schumacher or Prime Senna cannot take that Haas to pole, and that's the hill I'm going to die on. People can argue. People could argue with me like, "Oh, Lewis is the GOAT. Oh, Max is very great." No, that car is two cheeks of butt. All right. So when those words are said, it's like either he's being hyped too much and getting caught up in the moment.
Right.
And if, like, let's just say Max had, like, what happened Sunday happened, people are going to resurface that comment and say, huh, what happened? What happened to your boy? Right. So it's like, you know what? Let's just slow it down. Let's chill. Right. Let's relax. Let's relax. All right. Let's take it race by race. Yeah.
Appreciate that, brother. Kenny B coming up, which means he's still in studio, so we have success. Kenny B is still here. Yes.
It's that back button, man. Do not reload. Do not reload. Close that window.
Go ahead, Kitty B. You got it, bro. Let's go. He said the red.
Baraka, I thought you was my man. I thought you was my man. 50 grand. But first, you dissed my Packers. That's what you did first. With our new quarterback. But that's okay. I can work with that. Then you showed me you was a Red Bull fan. Oh my God. It's over. It's over between me and you, Baraka. But that's okay. Nah, for real.
I got you. Go ahead.
This is the thing. And Baraka hit right on it. Setup. Why do people believe that setup was the problem with the Red Bull in Singapore? Toto Wolff has come out and said this over and over and over again. About this time of the year, they go through the tracks and look at their strengths and weaknesses, and they know that they cannot overcome every weakness at every track. You have to choose.
Right.
And if you have to choose, you're going to choose the tracks that more suit one type of variable than that one outlier. And Singapore is an outlier. So all the setup in the world wasn't going to help Red Bull this weekend. Bottom line issue. There's a reason why Max has never won the Singapore Grand Prix. It's because Adrian Newey made a decision and said, this is one outlier. I need to let this one go because it's outside of the operating window that I want to put this car in to win the most races we can win.
Pick and choose your battle.
That's pick and choose your battles. You cannot set a car. You cannot build a car that can race at the front of the grid for every single track. You just can't do it. There's too many variables. Okay, so there's that.
Okay.
Then there's the new regs. Or I'm sorry, what did they call it? Clarification on the regulations?
Yeah.
So we're really not going to find out if this was part of a one-off or if those clarifications on the regs really, really hurt the Red Bull. Now, keep this in mind. We all know, we all understand Red Bull has not been putting upgrades on their car for a little bit of time.
Right.
Okay, so the car is what it is. But when you're that far ahead, do you really need to? Mercedes did.
Right. You don't. You just got to clean up little things here and there. That's why they do one or two things, maybe here and there.
Yeah, you really focused on next year, right?
Right.
The changes you want to make to next year's chassis, right?
Facts.
And I've been saying all along, it's the Red Bull floor, right?
That is what you have been saying.
There's two parts of the floor. There's the more aerodynamic part and how you control the way the air moves through the floor. And then there's the other parts about the floor that determine how the car bottoms out. Because you need to run as close to the track as you can to get as much downforce as you can, to have as much control as you can coming out of the exits. So there are two things that they beat everybody on. Those skid plates and how they control the air. They understand that they need that air to turn as it's coming through the floor.
True.
And the other teams didn't catch that. And in Monaco, when that car got lifted in the air, and all the commentators were saying, look at all the extra details.
Right, the vertical.
It was like, but the vertical kicks actually had angles to them.
They did.
So it created a spiral, which is like a slinky. So if you set something on top of a slinky, it will bounce. If a slinky's laying sideways and you set something on top of it, it's a cushion. They've learned how to create an air cushion under their car to stop it from bouncing. The thing is, the Singapore track is the outlier, along with some of the other city tracks. But Singapore more than others because of the humidity and the temperature. it has become a bigger outlier for their floor. And that's why when you add that to the clarifications on the regulations, it was a triple whammy against them, okay? I hear the laughter. All right, I'm going to let you take it. I had 3 things I needed to focus on, and those were the 3 things.
Bro,
and those 3 segments.
All cylinders tonight. You've been firing on all cylinders, Kenny B. I'm glad you figured out how to stay in studio, my brother. I'm telling you, because I missed you last week, bro. I missed you last time. Like, God damn.
Hey, look, the light ain't doing me no justice because this is stealth Mercedes.
Oh, shit. Damn, where is Jeff? We got a battle tonight. Kenny B, Jeff, and maybe even Barack about to have a swag battle. I did not even see that shit. That was fresh as hell. That shirt was fresh. Man, I don't know, man. Tonight is a battle for the F1 threads. I'm trying to tell you, Racer X210 is coming in on the Ferrari segment. Says Carlos, the shot caller, give him the keys to the castle, is what he is saying. So let's see what he's got to say. Let's go, Race X10. Give me a mic check, brother.
Am I here?
Yeah, you here. Go ahead, man. You got your F1 minute. Rock it out.
All right. I believe so. For the past couple races, Carlos has been showing each race bit by bit that not only does he deserve to be number 1, he's showing why he deserves to be number 1. This man was battling his own teammate in Italy. I was about to say Imola. Yeah. But he was battling his teammate in Italy, taking him on, made podium. Here we are in Singapore. He gets P1 and set the fastest time in qualifying. He's showing the Ferrari team principal, the team, hey, it's my time. I'm going to show you why I deserve to have the number 1 seat. And if y'all can build me a car that can work perfectly to my conditions, the way I drive, I can possibly bring home a driver championship back to Ferrari, because Ferrari has had a hell of a championship drought.
Man, I've been saying this, man. I've been saying that Carlos is there a new number 1 driver at Ferrari. Now, I know people told me last time, like, nah, it's going to be Charles. I'm saying Carlos is doing the job. He's showing, he's producing. I mean, if some things change, I don't know why it can't be in different areas where people think things can't change. For 1 minute, what people, even though it was a lot of haters, talking about Russell was the number 1 driver. Oh, like, come on, we talking about his teammate is a 7-time world champion, Lewis Hamilton. We got people that have the audacity to say Russell's the number 1 driver. Are you shitting me? For some reason, here we go with Carlos and Charles. No, it's Charles by any. No, Carlos is doing a phenomenal job right now. He's doing a phenomenal job. He is.
And Carlos has been with Ferrari longer than Charles, right?
I don't know if he's been with Ferrari longer than Charles. Charles been with Ferrari for like 6 seasons. I think this is 6th season with Ferrari. Carlos came on with Ferrari.
I'll come back in.
Yeah, check it, because I think Carlos came on Ferrari after he left McLaren, and then he got on with Ferrari.
Okay, so, yeah, because if he's doing this kind of thing, coming to Ferrari, I think like he can have a strong chance to compete for the driver championship. Oh yeah, if Ferrari continue to get their stuff together, brother. Exactly. All right, that's a bet. So listen, man, I did not expect to have all of this swag show off, these awesome debates. I'm just saying I might have to, you know what? I want Kenny B and I want Baraka right now front and center to come up here for 60 seconds each to give their take on Singapore in battle form. I want Baraka and Kenny B right now front and center to each give a take on Singapore. They have been spitting hot bars. Jeff created a whole swag debacle. So right now I want Kenny B and I want Baraka right now to call in for the call-ins right now.
We gotta have this. We gotta have this. Like they've been really launching the fire. Jeff started off the swag, so I would like Jeff to come in after this, man, to see what else he might be able to add to the swag pack on the way out. So here we go. I'm about to go ahead and bring Barack in. I'm about to let Kenny B in. We got these brothers right now here. I'm gonna leave it to y'all in the live chat. Who do y'all want to go first? We're gonna let the people choose. Who's going first? Kenny B. Or matter of fact, I tell you what, we're gonna flip the Wolfpack gold coin for that. All right, so
yeah. Because either you flip the coin or you let the people decide. We can't decide.
Let's flip. I can't let y'all decide. Let's flip the gold.
Oh my God, he's got the shirtless gear on.
I tell you what, so
I can't believe it. Oh my God,
Kenny B, you are the furthest. So in like Street Outlaws, you the furthest. So you get to call it what you want, heads or tails.
Heads.
Oof. Tails. Performance top
I defer.
side. That's the head side. You defer.
Oh shit! This ain't football.
All right. So Kenny B, you get to go first. You got 60 seconds. Hard cutoff. Take on Singapore Grand Prix. Let's see what you got.
All right, this is what I got. Too many teams cannot prepare for the Singapore Grand Prix, but the Mercedes team prepared for it exceptionally. They had a great plan. Everything went the way they wanted it to. They prepared their tires. They saved their tires during the practice sessions and during qualifying in order to be ready for the race. A lot of people don't understand this, and this has been going on since the 70s. Good drivers do not set their car up for qualifying. They set their car up for the race. And that's not only what they did for the race for Mercedes, they did it in preparation leading into the race. And it paid off until the youngster got too cocky and did not submit when he should have. He paid the price for it, and that's that. Now, with Red Bull, either they succumbed to the regulation definitions or the track just bit them again, or a combination of both. This is a hard 60 seconds.
60
Call
seconds.
it Baraka.
All right, Baraka, you got your 60 seconds. Here I go. We about to start the clock. Then they're going to vote for who won round one. 60 seconds. Go, Baraka.
First off, I want to say that Singapore yesterday was probably race of the year. It was eventful. Everything that could happen happened. You got Red Bull showing a flaw for the first time since last year?
At the same race.
At the same race last year. You have Mercedes, who I'll admit, they hit a home run with coming into the pits, switching up from hards to mediums. Well, no one else did. I'll give them that. You have Carlos doing a power chest move, holding Lando up so he could keep him in the DRS train to protect his P1. Overall, it's like, hey, race of the year. You got a young driver in George who he really is desperately trying to prove himself to the team that he's been with since he started his racing career. You know, he's a Mercedes junior, so he's trying to prove a point. It's like, yeah, I could beat the best. I can handle that. You got Lewis showing his, I don't want to say, he's showing up his knowledge and experience of just, holding back a bit and let the things play out the way they did. So overall, race of the year.
Hard cutoff. All right, so right now, y'all stay right where you are. I'm going to start a poll. People in Super Chat, who do you think won round one? I'm about to get...
Rock, I don't appreciate you going after my Packers.
Who won
listen. Hey, I haven't had this feeling yet. I haven't had this feeling of going 2-0 or undefeated since 2017. I'm new to this again. I haven't had this feeling in a long time.
You know what? Y'all should have won that Super Bowl, but y'all let the referees take the game from you. 3 pass interferences in a row.
Yeah.
57, 64.
Honestly,
okay,
that's
so
a race that's a game that I want to forget really bad.
Like right now, Galactic says humid air doesn't flow fast and crispy. Right now, we about to close the vote, and it says 62%. Kenny B wins the first round. Now I'm about to turn shit up on y'all. All right, Kenny B, you had the first flip. Baraka, you get the flip. So listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. Tails is Max Verstappen. Heads is Lewis Hamilton. You're gonna have to defend whichever driver you get why they are the best. Period. You don't get to choose. The coin decides. Ooh. Why is Lewis Hamilton the best? All right. You can defer. You can defer. What you want to do, bro?
I'll start. I'll start it off with this one. I'll start off.
You better defer, boy. You better defer.
Actually, you know what? I'll defer. I'll defer.
Cause you ain't got no fun, bro.
Kenny B, you got it, brother. You got it. 60.
I had no idea what you were doing here, but when you made him have to defend Lewis Hamilton, that was game over. Look, I tried to tell y'all, Alonso told y'all why he felt he was the best Formula One driver in the grid, because he is the best at every single aspect of the racing. What people don't realize is Lewis is right there with him, and he proved it his first year in Formula One. Every aspect of racing, qualifying, entry and exit out of the turns, tire management, race management, being able to dictate what's going to happen from start to finish in the race, just like what you finally saw from Ferrari the very first time since Schumacher. No one from Ferrari has ever shown that. Okay? But the bottom line issue is the ass whooping. I'm sorry for the language.
No, you good. Ass whooping good.
That Lewis showed George to put him in his place as a young pup and say, look, man, there is too much you got to learn, because your tires were dead and mine were ready.
Hard cut off. All right, Baraka, you up. You got 60 seconds. Then I'm going to put the poll in the chat. 60 seconds. Let's go, Baraka. You better work hard, because if you don't tie it up, Kenny B
So
runs away with
this is for Lewis, right? This is for Lewis.
No, you got Max.
Max, why is he the best driver? I say this: he's probably the best out of the next up and coming drivers. Once Lewis and everyone else go past, Max is up there. You because we already seen Charles can't hack it. We all saw that in France last year. 22-second lead into the tire wall. Lando had the chance to win at Russia, got spooked up by some little drops and sprinkles. You got George just crashing on his own for just defending, for Christ's sake. Name me one other driver in this next generation that could hack it other than Max. Name me one. I dare you. You can't. I love Logan Sargent, but Logan Sargent, he's too young to the game. He's too young. He's too raw. He's too green. Oscar Piastri, I'm sorry. You could probably take out Lando, but I don't think you got the minerals to do it with Max. Max is just built a different breed. He's aggressive. He's an aggressive driver. He reminds me of a young Kyle Busch. Remember when he turned into Dale Jr. He's very talented. But yeah.
60 seconds off. All right, we got the poll in the chat. Who do you think got round two? Kenny B or Baraka? Depending on these results, it will be over. I will say slightly Baraka. Oh, man, you almost deferred to Kenny B, even in your argument, brother. You almost deferred to Kenny B.
He did. From the very beginning, he did.
I did.
I put my hands up like this. I was like, oh, my God. Did he give it up?
It's like, you know what? It's like, I had
shit.
It's like, hey, I had to pick my battles. I had to pick my battles here.
All right, so right now we got.
So why did you take your battle to everyone else other than Lewis?
Ooh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Right now, hold that.
I'm just curious.
80% say Kenny B got. 78% say Kenny B got it. So the battle is over too. Kenny B, what I need you to do is, do you have a way social media to get in contact with me? You got Instagram, Twitter, anything like that?
Yeah, I got Twitter.
Okay, hit me up on.
I got Instagram.
Okay, you got Instagram. Hit me up at F1 Minute, Wolfpack F1 Minute or Wolfpack Performance, and get.
We're gonna do a recording. Me and Baraka.
I'm gonna send you a purple collection Wolfpack. I got you. All right, so right now, hold on. I want an extra round right there, 60 seconds on what you were about to say to Baraka and Brock. I'm gonna give you a chance to respond, and then we go close out. Go ahead, Kenny B. What was you about to say?
All I got to say is, I enjoy listening to Baraka talk about what he sees in the race from his aspect, whether I agree with it or not. And I've said this numerous times before, and that's what kind of drew me to him. But I had no idea that he was a Red Bull fan. And this is the one thing I'm trying to get you to understand, Baraka. Max Verstappen is a one-dimensional driver. He is an entry into the turn driver. He will dip his nose in there because he can deal with an unstable rear end and make it work out where other drivers can't. And he did it to Lewis, and he's done it to other drivers. But once Lewis gets a car under him, it's game over. He will not let it happen again. The one thing about Lewis is every year he goes and reassesses himself and fixes his weaknesses. And that's what Alonso was talking about when he claimed himself to be the best overall driver.
All right, Baraka, man, you got it. 60 seconds. Go ahead, rebuttal.
Listen, it's just a unique driving style that Max has been up to in his work since he started going into karting. You know, with his dad at Yos. I don't want to go into the specific details on how that he was raised with that. That is a can of worms I refuse to touch.
All right.
But I think
Definitely is good.
Yeah. I think with his driving style, the reason why I'm attracted to that is like he does remind me of the boys back in NASCAR. You know, very aggressive, going into that turn aggressively. You got Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, who, given the chance, would go balls deep into a turn one after a restart and try to get their nose in. And that's what personally drew me into Max. Is like he kind of gave me those little elements of those type of drivers in a way. And what else did you say? I think in due time, given Max's he came in the sport when 17, he was still a kid. But in due time, I think he would adapt into probably applying more tools in his driving.
In 60 seconds, that's it. Hey, my brothers, I appreciate you both for participating in this. I said, I'm going to try this today, and if they both show up and come with what I think they come with, I'm trying this first segment today. I really appreciate you all kicking it off.
No, you told us this a month ago you wanted to do this, so I heard it.
I had already been to it. So, Kitty B, appreciate you, man. The first winner right here, a Wolfpack viewer battle. Get with me. I will send you that Purple Collection hat. I will see you soon. Baraka, big shout out to you, bro. This is going to happen again. This might be another place that you might be able to win. We'll see if Will ever comes back on. You know what I'm saying? So, appreciate you participating, my brother. Hey, everybody, appreciate you participating in F1 Minute. You know I'm always going to try to bring something that involves you all and brings you all in to participate in the content creation. We will now start Wolfpack viewer battles. I will find two people during the show that are making very good points and have the ability to go ahead and just express themselves as so. Don't worry about the word ass. Don't worry about if you drop the F-bomb. Don't worry about if you say damn, if you say shit. Just don't personally attack your opponent. Make it about the topic at hand, and we will give it to a vote to the people in the chat, and the winner of that will definitely get a Wolfpack Purple Collection hat or something else. But you know I'm all about giving back. So big shout out to Baraka. Big shout out to Kenny B, especially with him being able to get back in studio. First time kicking that off. Absolutely awesome. I appreciate it. So listen, you know what I always say. Listen, we got to go ahead and do what we got to do. We got Japan coming up. We got another GP coming up. We're going to see if Red Bull are going to get back on track. Like Kenny B said, they have to pick and choose their battles. And that is absolutely right. And we will see what happens soon. We got one super chat right here that I need to get to. Spider R35 says, what the hell did I walk into? Baraka wearing a Merc shirt, a Merc winning loader. Hey, I'm trying to tell you, Jeff kicked it off, bro. Jeff kicked it off with changing clothes 3 times while he was on camera. It was crazy. It was like the Transformers. It was like once he was Optimus Prime, then he changed into Bumblebee, then he changed into a damn Decepticon. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy out there. So I really do appreciate that. Jeff, if you still in the chat, man, big shout out to you. Always bringing that part of the show. You are the swag man of the show. Kenny B was giving some competition with that stealth shirt, though. Then Baraka even got into it. This is why I love being involved with y'all, communicating with y'all, and having these conversations with you all. All right. So y'all stay up. Peace. Be safe. We out. F1 Minute back next Monday. We will be live this weekend for the Japanese GP. Wolfpack out. Peace.